Netflix announced it publicly. Jake Paul made it official. Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis.
So what did you think about the fight, Jake Paul?
I hate it. And Jake Paul's starting to piss me off.
What happens when boxing's most hated YouTuber challenges its most dangerous knockout artist? Jake Paul just called out Gervonta Tank Davis for November 14th in Atlanta, and the boxing world is in complete chaos. Legends are whispering this fight could either make Paul or destroy him. Here's why even hardcore fans are terrified of what's coming next.
All right, folks, it's real. That's the only thing I can think of to say right now. It is real. Breaking news. Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis November 15th in Atlanta, Georgia.
However, there's a major catch. While casual fans are celebrating this massive announcement, traditional boxing enthusiasts are absolutely furious. Critics are questioning the fight regulations, while others dismiss this as pure entertainment rather than legitimate competition. But when you examine the situation closely, one truth emerges. This showdown transcends athletic achievement and centers entirely on massive financial opportunity.
Gervonta Tank's better than him. I just don't know that. I mean, he's so much bigger. It's actually kind of crazy. It's so much bigger.
The fight specs are already a lightning rod. Jake Paul steps in at 190-195 pounds, while Gervonta Tank Davis won't exceed 165, a massive size gap that critics call nothing more than theater. Supporters, however, argue it's the only way to offset Tank's edge in fundamentals, IQ, and pro experience. The bout runs 10 3-minute rounds, but the debate rages louder than the bell. Daniel Cormier has blasted the matchup as a dangerous mismatch. Tank's skill level, he says, dwarfs Jake's, but Paul's 66-pound advantage is a wild card no one can predict. Even so, Cormier isn't wavering. Tank Davis still gets his pick for victory.
I'm all for fun fights. I'm all for big events. I will talk about what the fight entails. I don't think for 1 second that Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul in a boxing match is a complete mismatch on the side of Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is that much better than Jake Paul at boxing. He is. He is. But Gervonta Davis in his last fight weighed 133.8 pounds. When Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, he weighed 199.4 pounds.
The boxing world erupted. Mike Perry went straight for Gervonta Davis, blasting him for even taking this fight. Perry accused Tank of ducking a rematch with Lamont Roach after their disputed draw, chasing Jake Paul's payday instead. He didn't stop there, claiming Davis has no real interest in battling someone nearly 80 pounds heavier, and that this move screams money grab over competition.
Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, I mean, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
Shakur Stevenson didn't hold back. He's chased a mega fight with Gervonta for years, only to see Tank pick Jake Paul instead. Calling it a stain on boxing's integrity, Stevenson blasted Davis for ducking both him and a Roach rematch, choosing spectacle over real competition.
What do you think about the rumors that Tank and Jake fight now?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
Despite his harsh criticism, Shakur Stevenson conceded that Tank will probably emerge victorious. He noted that while Gervonta will certainly profit handsomely from this encounter, he could have generated even greater revenue by fighting him instead. Stevenson praised Gervonta's continued development as a fighter, acknowledging his increasing sharpness and strength. He believes Tank's exceptional skill level will be sufficient to systematically break down Jake Paul, regardless of the significant size disadvantage.
Maybe he'll fight Jake Paul instead. What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money. But from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me. And if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
There's a huge size advantage, though.
it is, but I think Tank got the skills to make sure he come out on top.
Do you think that Jake has gone better?
Yeah, I think actually Jake got tremendously better from the time frame that he started till now. And in the right situation, I also could see him become a world champion.
Really?
Yeah.
Wade Plemons from the Wade Concept criticized the matchup as completely nonsensical from a pure boxing perspective. He explained that while Jake Paul desperately seeks boxing community acceptance, this fight won't fully achieve that goal. It might convert some fans while simultaneously alienating many others. He described it as a credibility balancing act. Nevertheless, he acknowledged that from a business standpoint, this fight represents enormous success. Financially, it's guaranteed to produce massive numbers, regardless of purist opinions.
For one, this is an exhibition, and when this was rumored to happen months ago and I was saying it was a nonsensical fight for Jake to do, I still think it's a nonsensical one from a boxer perspective, from his goals in boxing perspective. But again, if it makes dollars, it makes sense, and we've seen that Jake will kind of bounce in between doing these entertainment fights and then, trying to push toward his goal of ingraining himself in the sport of boxing, and kind of does both of them. So it's kind of a weird place to be, because he wants the respect of the boxing fans and the boxing hierarchy and hardcore boxing people, but at the same time, he'll gain some of that and then lose some of it. It's like a seesaw of his fights. Like one fight, like, okay, that's a real fight.
Not long ago, Gervonta Davis swore he'd never fight Jake Paul. He mocked him as a circus act, saying he wasn't Pacquiao or Mayweather chasing exhibitions at the end of their careers. He was still in his prime. But now, Tank's signed on the dotted line, and fans are left asking what made him flip the script.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. Would you look at it as a joke if someone, if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. Did you ever do a fight like that?
I feel as though in my career I can't do that right now. I'm not a Floyd Mayweather. I ain't no Manny Pacquiao or no Canelo. I think that I actually still gotta have my foot on the gas as far as boxing.
Trainer Greg Hackett admitted his first reaction was pure disbelief. He thought Tank had lost his mind. But after looking closer, he called it what it is, a business move. With that kind of money on the table, saying no isn't realistic. Still, Hackett's prediction is crystal clear. Tank breaks Jake down over 8 rounds, then shuts the show.
And I saw that they was, instead of him fighting Lamont, he'd be fighting Jake. Whatever. At first I was like, damn, Tank, like that's kind of crazy. Like, that's fucked up. But then I started thinking about it throughout the day. I'm thinking about it, I'm seeing the posts and shit. And I'm like, yo, none of this shit is guaranteed. At the end of the day, man, he taking a shot at some money. We all wish we could have made that kind of money. I don't understand the issue. He could come back and fight whoever he want after that. His career is not over just because you fighting Jake Paul. Jake Paul ain't no type of demon. It's not like he about to go in there with Godzilla. You about to play around for 8 rounds, 2 minutes with a dickhead. You know what I mean? No disrespect. But, with somebody that think they know how to fight.
Conversely, YouTuber Aiden Ross presents a radically different perspective. He's absolutely convinced that Jake Paul is mentally prepared, completely focused, and destined for victory. Ross argues that while casual fans understand traditional weight class principles, this specific matchup favors Jake's size, physical strength, and intensive preparation regimen. He believes this winning combination will guarantee Jake's triumph over Gervonta.
My point still stands where it stands. Jake Paul wins this fight. I already bet Gervonta Davis in the DMs. We locked the bet. Guys, it's obvious Jake wins this fight. If you guys know anything about fighting, you know about weight classes. You know that Jake's been training for actual years. He's been locked in.
Lamont Roach immediately responded on Twitter after the announcement, accusing Gervonta of deliberately avoiding him. Roach has persistently demanded a rematch since their initial encounter, but Tank consistently refused to commit. Davis openly admitted he wasn't prepared for an immediate Roach rematch, suggesting it might occur sometime next year. For Roach, this Jake Paul fight timing only confirmed his suspicion that Gervonta avoided him for a more profitable opportunity.
I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the bills. I've been telling y'all that. And I'm just glad I got to show it, honestly. I'm glad I got to show it. I appreciate, like I said before, I appreciate True Boxing Media. Some guys that didn't count me out. So that's just how I feel, man. I think I won. And, I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to dance again.
Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure. But hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Carl Froch delivered brutal criticism, condemning the matchup as an absolute farce. He argued this represents fake competition, highlighting how Jake Paul recently challenged Anthony Joshua, yet now faces someone nearly half his physical size. He described it as a fake fight with a fake Paul, declaring the entire situation boxing nonsense. However, he concluded by questioning what developments might emerge regarding AJ.
So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into.
Coach Hunter brushed it off, calling the fight more exhibition than career-defining. He made it clear Tank's legacy won't hinge on Jake Paul, with bigger fights already lined up. But Hunter sent a warning. This isn't Tyson. Tank is a whole different beast.
Excuse me, the arena, the presentation of the fight, I thought it was drop dead gorgeous, to be honest with you. And, but other than that, I look at it as just exhibition, entertainment. And if Tank decides, you know, that after this he's gonna fight whomever, it's still a lot of attractive fights out there for him, you know, as far as boxing is concerned. But that's what it is, you know what I mean? But like you said, you had several people that had exhibitions before like this, and all the ones you named, and still it wasn't a blemish on their career.
The Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight has split the boxing world in half. To some, it's a money grab, profit over sport, size mismatch, a circus in gloves. To others, it's the perfect storm. Jake's shot at validation, Tank's chance to cash in while proving dominance. Big names are divided. Cormier, Froch, and Stevenson call it a disgrace. Perry and Roach say Tank ducked real challenges. Meanwhile, Jake supporters see a giant killer in the making. Trainers like Hackett and Hunter, they say when the bag is this big, no one walks away. One thing's certain, November 14th at State Farm Arena, the world will be watching. Legacy or spectacle, real fight or cash grab, this will be the most talked about night in boxing. Now it's your turn. Drop your pick in the comments. Is it Jake Paul with the size or Tank Davis with the skill?